So I didn't realize until 10 minutes ago that German bureaucracy is actually a meme. In other words, it's a thing in Germany. Germans joke about the insane level of bureaucracy and how long it takes to get anything permitted. So clearly, this is not just Tesla. This is Germany as a country. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Electric Viking. My name is Sam Evans. You're watching the channel that just made 1,000 YouTube videos in the last 7 months. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Welcome back to everyone else. Great to have you here on the channel. So what is happening at Gigafactory Berlin? Well, strangely, Tesla's actually producing cars right now. I don't know how that's a thing. I mean, obviously they're storing lots of them in the car park at the Gigafactory, but at some point in time, the car park will be full. There'll be no more spaces left to put cars. And the question is, what will Tesla do then? Water pumping approvals, bats in trees, an empty tank, safety approvals, changes to the number of chemicals. These are just a few things that have stopped Tesla's progress in Germany as it attempts to launch its first electric vehicle manufacturing facility in Europe. Tesla already reports that there are just a few things that have stopped Tesla's progress in Germany as it attempts to launch its first electric vehicle manufacturing facility in Europe. It's been a long and trying road for Tesla to get their facility approved as they've attempted to surf through the waves of German bureaucratic red tape since early 2020. After another delay in the approval process, which has expected production start dates ranging across 3 different quarters, because who knows, it's Germany, industry experts challenge Germany's reputation as a place for companies to conduct business. So yes, it isn't only Tesla fans doing this, it's actually German businesses and businesses in Europe that are mocking it and challenging what's going on right now as well. Tesla shows the world how we stand in our own way, Ferdinand Dudenhofer, director of the Center of Automotive Research, said. By the way, this guy is not a Tesla fanboy in any way, shape or form. While Dudenhofer does agree that Tesla should have treaded more carefully during the approval of battery production facilities and have been smarter regarding document submissions, the industry expert believes that German red tape has mainly told a story of how hard it is to get things done if you're planning to open a business in the country. He said, but such hurricanes of resistance show how little sustainable Germany is. Coverage of the Berlin Gigafactory has spanned over the last 2 years, and it goes in incredible direct contrast to coverage of China's factory, or Tesla's China factory in Shanghai. Musk announced that Tesla would bring a production facility to Germany in late 2019 while accepting an automotive industry reward. Now, I wonder if maybe Tesla are regretting not building the factory in a country like Poland, where I'm sure they would have had approval many months ago. The project began just a couple of months after its announcement in 2019, in the early days of January 2020. More than 2 years later now, a factory, a parade, a carnival, and a lot of speculation regarding when Tesla will finally receive the green light still exist. I mean, there's literally hundreds of videos on YouTube about this right now. Earlier this week, German media reported that Tesla would likely not receive permission to begin production and deliveries until mid-March at the earliest. It's a far cry from the summer 2021 dates that many close to the project anticipated. Right now, though, the delays are starting to worry those who see Germany as a potential leader in the future automotive industry, which over the past 10 years has changed more than it did in the previous 90. Car companies are not just about making cars anymore. They're relatively close to tech companies than anyone due to the advancements in software and the widespread focus on developing autonomous driving platforms, solution, software, and everything else around the autonomous driving game. Regardless of what a company brings to the table, they will likely have to encounter some major pushback and delays in their projects. Even EV leader Tesla is having numerous problems. But this is, unfortunately, not out of the ordinary for companies in Germany. Dudenhofer wonders which companies are observing the red tape and the pushback, thinking that other options may be better, as in, should companies just avoid Germany altogether? And it isn't just companies either. Dudenhofer says that the renewal of motorway bridges can take years or decades to be rebuilt, completely due to new approval procedures. It is not about getting things done quickly in Germany. It is about dotting the T's and crossing the I's and all those sorts of things, right? When things as simple as bridge repairs are taking over 10 years to complete, there has to be an indication that the processes for planning and approval need to be revised. That is what Chief Executive Holger Loesch, who encouraged the agencies responsible for approving projects to take a look at refining the approval steps, said. Loesch, whose association is overseeing the installation of wind turbines and industrial plants to double by 2030, says that his plans will include the submission of around 20,000 permits during the course of approvals. This mammoth task can only be mastered with a comprehensive reform of planning and approvals that includes processes for industrial plant structures, he said. Even Brandenburg Economics Minister Georg Steinbach submitted ideas to help expedite potential approvals. Driven by the lagging approval process for the Tesla project, Steinbach said that it should be possible to make changes to the building plan in the ongoing approval process without the process having to be completely restarted. But it's not. Clearly, they are, well, in my view, in Germany, intentionally dragging their feet on permits. This might not just be for Tesla. This could just be the way that Germany does business. And if you go by the memes, if you Google search Germany bureaucratic, the next word you get, the next most popular word on Google is meme. And all those memes are about the delays that go on thanks to the German bureaucratic process. The Germans, though, are only hurting themselves by doing this. More and more manufacturing is moving from the West, from Europe, to China. And it will continue to do so if this bureaucratic nightmare continues to get worse, which is what it's been doing over the last 10, 20, 30 years. Cars that could have been made in Germany are now shipped from China to the EU and surrounding countries. And as Herbert D. said, this is a trend that is only going to grow over the next decade. Germany is basically giving away jobs and business to China in their effort to curb Tesla. And also in their effort to make sure every process is followed correctly. Now, is this madness? Do you agree with me that it's over the top? Do you think that maybe Germany needs to consider this? Maybe Australia. I mean, we have millions of regulations here. It's very hard to get things approved here as well. Now, here is what an entrepreneur in Germany had to say about the approval process so far for Tesla in Germany. He said, "I don't think you realize the extent of the German bureaucracy. If Tesla actually does get their permit in Q2 of this year, it is clear the government would have done a lot in favor of this happening, not against. For other companies, it takes a lot more time." This is coming from an entrepreneur in Germany who has gone through this process on a number of occasions. Now, Homp made this comment, which I think is interesting. When the dog wags its tail long enough, the tail tends to wag the dog. These procedures were all started with good intentions, and the bureaucracy to some extent is important. The lack of it can result in poor construction quality that we see in some other countries. Unfortunately, when people think the bureaucracy is more important than the service it is meant to provide, that is where everything falls in a heap. When it comes to oversight institutions, I don't think there is an ideal setup. People think they're important, and often more important even than their own jobs. So they have to hold up progression of society because they can, and it makes them feel important. That's a shame. They are all important, and they don't need to create such red tape to prove it, but they often do. Now, one interesting thing that I noticed is on a forum for German entrepreneurs. Someone said this: a lot of Europeans have actually moved, in particular Germans, have actually moved from Europe to North America or other places where the support for entrepreneurs is better. The old saying about a guy with an idea and a garage in the US isn't fiction. So what do you think? Do you think this is hurting Germany as a country? I personally think it has to be. This is being talked about everywhere. what are the chances that other companies are going to come along and say, hey, you know what? We should copy Tesla, build a factory in Germany, and then go through this nightmare of having it delayed for an indefinite period of time. Who knows when it's going to actually start again? And the longer this plays out, the worse the press gets. Now, one of my favorite memes, which was posted on a German forum, which had nothing to do with Tesla, several years ago, in fact, is a photo of a guy with a massive beard and long hair. And it just says, what year is it? On that note, have a great day and I'll see you again on the next video. Bye-bye.